Hey everyone, it's Michelle here, or Mish Crafts, and today I have a homemade squishy tips and hacks for you guys, so let's get started with number 1. Before you comment anything negative, pause the video right now to read the disclaimers. I know some of you guys have been working with car wash sponges like me to make homemade squishies, and this is a struggle for me when it is time to clean up. I get foam stuck all over my hands, not just this much, but even more. So here is a life hack for you guys when cleaning up your mess. All you have to do is literally use a lint roller. Yes, I'm saying a lint roller because it collects all the tiny pieces of foam so you don't have to pick them up individually. Once you're done, peel off the layer of tape and throw it in the trash can. And that is literally it. When it's time to paint your piece of foam, please, and I mean please, do not paint with your hands. I am telling you right now because I remember I did that once and it took me at least 30 minutes to get every speck of paint off of my hands. So to avoid getting paint on your hands or painting with your hands, I recommend using disposable gloves or Ziploc bags. They work the same. When you're done painting the squishy and you don't want to use the gloves anymore, the best way for me to remove the gloves is to pull from the bottom up to avoid touching the paint. Now for the actual paint to paint your homemade squishies, I do recommend using puffy paint, but colored puffy paint can be quite expensive. So this is what I like to use in alternative to that. I like to use white puffy paint with colored acrylic paint. But just remember that the ratio of acrylic paint you add is less than the amount of puffy paint. Why is it called a squishy when it is not really that squishy and slow rising like this? If you want to make your homemade squishy slow rising, then all you have to do is paint on layers of puffy paint, and I guarantee you it will be slow rising. If you do not know what material I use to make my homemade squishies, I use car wash sponges, but there are many other foams that you can use to make them, such as memory foam or density foam. I personally like to use car wash sponges because it is easier for me, and I could determine the level of slow risingness according to the type of foam that I use when I add layers of puffy paint. As for memory foam, every time when I paint on layers of paint, the squishy tends to get harder every time, so for me, I really don't recommend it, or it just hates me. When you finish painting your squishy and you don't know where to put it because it is all wet and you don't want your masterpiece to mess up, I like to create a little stand so that it is 100% guaranteed that it will not fall and get paint everywhere. On YouTube and Instagram, a lot of people have been asking me on what material I use to make packaging for my homemade squishies, and all I have to say is recycled plastic packaging because literally that is all you need. But of course, if you want to be professional and all, you can buy plastic packaging, and I got mine from Banggood.com, and I will try to leave a link down below if you guys are interested, but yeah. The number one tools that I use the most to paint my homemade squishies is paintbrushes and toothpicks for smaller details. For the type of paintbrushes that I prefer are synthetic paintbrushes because they hold their shape really well and they are better quality than these cheap ones that I'm showing you guys right now because the hairs fall off every time when I try to paint. As for the type of toothpicks, I prefer the round over the flat ones because the round one gives finer details than the flat ones because they have stubby ends, just to let you guys know. Have you ever wondered how to make these realistic looking sprinkles that you would see off of online stores that sell them? Well, here's how to make them instead of buying them. All you will need is polymer clay colors of your choice, a cutting tool, and a baking pan lined with parchment paper. To begin, start by making each equal pieces of clay off of the colors of your choice. After that, start by rolling them into thin snakes or coils according to the thickness that you prefer. After you're done, bake according to your package instructions for 1 minute. Now to make them look like actual sprinkles, all you have to do is chop them into sprinkle-like lengths, and that is it. For these chocolate looking chunks, all you need is brown clay, or if you're making peanuts, then tan clay, I guess. But all you have to do is flatten some chunk of clay and bake them in the oven. After that piece of clay has completely cooled down, chop them into little sticks or strips, and then cut those sticks into little chunks. We are finally down to tip number 10, and it is to let your squishies dry completely or for 24 hours at least in order for the squishy to stay in its correct shape, because according to this one, I squished the straw too early and it got smushed like that. Yay, we finally made it to the end of this video. I hope you find these 10 tips helpful for any of you guys who make homemade squishies. Don't forget to subscribe and turn that post notification button down below to get notified every time when I upload a new video. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!